Alright, we're looking to put the seats back in today. Finish up this interior. I think she's looking pretty good. Did have a bolt break off on removal. I tried welding a nut to it and it just kept breaking off. I couldn't get a good weld on it. Plus the nut that was seated in there was moving all over the place. It had lost its pinch welds. So it was sliding all over. So I just drilled it and beat it out of there. And then I welded in a nut. My welding is not great. This one was sliding around too. I just drilled a couple of holes in there and was able to do a couple spot welds. Pretty small ones just to keep it in place. I ordered new seat rails because my old seat rails were pretty rusted. This one was okay. I was able to clean it up quite a bit. It's got so much rust and buildup in the track, and it's lost a couple of the ball bearings. Pretty common on these cars. If you don't replace the sunroof seals, they get a lot of water in there, and that's like the one place that's prone to rust other than that spare wheel well. God, I spent $70 and ordered a set off of eBay that were for a Porsche 944, and I don't know if these are if they changed the style in the, I don't know, S or S2 or the turbos, just had a different seat rail. These kind of, to me, look like they're out of a Volkswagen, honestly. So maybe the dude just thought they were out of a Porsche. The seat holes line up, so I'll be able to bolt it to the bottom of the seat, but there's no provisions to bolt it to the floor other than these. They move really well though. And also this handle is quite a bit shorter, so I'm concerned that if I bolt this up, it's going to be under the seat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to weld it to here so that it's extended to the right length. I'm going to measure off the old one. I'm going to take off these tabs here, and then I'm just going to drill holes where the seat holes are on both of the, or where the floor mount holes are on both of these. And yeah, I'm just going to modify these and use them. They're the same depth and they're the same rail length, so the only thing that's different is the mounting. And I am just going to modify these so that I don't have to order a different set, and then also just have a weird spare set of seat rails that I'll probably never be able to sell because I'm not 100% sure what they're off of. Anyways, that's what's happening. So if these are off a car somebody needed, sorry, I'm going to use them. Okay, I have welded on the handle, trimmed off those legs, and drilled new provisions for the floor. So I'm going to get this mounted to the seat, and then I have to do the other one. So true to form on this car, the seat installation has been a much bigger deal than we anticipated it would. Hate that color, so you can't step in it without anything other than bare feet without getting them dirty. But the guide rails here, I have them all mocked up. I've got the holes drilled for the floor. I forget which one it is. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, so when I was hammering, and anytime you hammer, everything just falls on the floor. And really don't want to lose these. So these are what secure the rail to the seat. They go up through here to the seat, and then this part is exposed inside the rail. Now the issue I was having was because these seats had these legs on them, because they're for, God, this feels like a Volkswagen Beetle mount, but maybe another version of a Porsche had it. The guy said it was for Porsche 924, Porsche 944. obviously it's different than the ones that are in my car. It looks like we used to have an old Volkswagen Beetle, like a 70 or 71 Volkswagen Beetle, and I feel like the seats had a bracket like that. Anyway, so these had the support for that elbow was spot welded to the inside of this rail. So when I had the mounting bolt in there, it was coming into contact with this bolt head on the seat, and the seat wasn't able to go to its full forward and reverse setting. It was getting stopped on this. So I tried doing a bunch of different modifications. Eventually I just had to drill out the spot welds, which was kind of a pain in the ass. And then now it'll clear. So I had to do that on all of them. My bits are pretty much gone at this point. So I've broken a couple, and the rest are just now dull. So that's fun, but expected. Anyway, I'm gonna get these mounted up. I'm gonna get the seat installed, and then I'm gonna work on the cooling thing, because I don't like. Eventually I'll go to an aluminum radiator. I don't have that now. I'm not gonna do that right now. I want this thing just on the road driving, at least for a moment. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out the old fans, and we're gonna mount in these 10-inch fans here. Pretty good build quality. Like, the plastic is really, I don't know, feels really pretty strong. I'm gonna test the airflow against the old fans. These are quite a bit lighter than the old fans as well, and it should also alleviate some of the clearance between the drive belt setup and the fans that's currently there, so I won't have to worry about that lower radiator hose getting bumped by the fan blades like is happening on stock. So we're gonna go ahead and pull those out after I get the seat installed. And I've got a new thermo fan switch that I'm gonna install right here. So I'm gonna pop that in, and we're gonna intercept the ground circuit. I'm putting in a new relay. So both fans are going to run, and they're going to run off the thermo fan switch, just like they're supposed to, but they're going to bypass the entire car setup. And I'm just going to mount the relay in here. It's a waterproof relay, and I'm going to attach it to the coil ignition switch, and then run power straight to the battery. So that'll be an independent cooling system that's just running off the thermo fan switch, which is the stock settings. 92 for on and 87 degrees Celsius for off. So whatever that is, it's under 200 degrees. It's like 195 and 175, I think, or somewhere around there. But yeah, we're going to drop that in, and then I'm going to do a run test, see if cooling stays down. And I also need to re-bleed the cooling system anyway. As you can see, I have some air in the system, and so it was bubbling out over the overflow tube. So we're going to take the cap off and let it run and bleed the system the way that it's supposed to be bled, and go from there. So those are the things that I got on for today. But yeah, we're starting to close in on this deal here, because once I get it cooling effectively, we'll do a road test and probably just drive it around the block, because I'm still waiting on some title stuff to happen. And then I can start the body work. So this is all single stage paint. I don't know if this is legitimate Guards Red or what paint they used, because it was a respray, but it's going to stay kind of this color, closer to the Guards Red, I think. But I'm gonna shoot it in single stage just to get some paint on it and make it a little bit more presentable. There was a clear coat on this, it looks like, at one point, so they did a single stage and then they put a clear, at least on this part of the car. This is the only part of the car that I've seen that has clear coat on it. So I feel like this was resprayed at a different time. It also did not buff up the way that the single stage did. So the single stage did a much better job of, as you can see here, running the buffer over it and bringing its gloss back. It did on that anyway, but not so much on the hood. And then it had this weird... The other car, when I bought this car, had a similar paint job. And almost in the exact same spot, this was here. So I don't know if this is like a thing, because I can see the factory paint is under here, this wine red. It's super thick, almost like there's body filler in here, but it doesn't appear to be any dents. And this is the galvanized steel that's under it. So I'm not sure what happened, but both hoods, similar spot, similar thing. So I don't know if that's just a thing. There's nothing under here, like the MAF or the AMF is sitting under here. And I can't imagine that thing caught fire, because there really is, there's 12 volts going to it, but there's nothing really right here that could be a heat source. So unsure. It doesn't look like it was burned through anyway, because the underside still had the heat sound deadening foam under it that's all rotted and deteriorated away now, but it didn't look like it was burned at all. So I'm not really sure what happened here, but yeah, so that's the plan. Seats, and then hopefully we get started on cooling fans. Okay, seats are installed and working great. Honestly, I wish I had gotten 2 sets. This one rolls much further in both directions than the OEM ones, but that took a lot of work to make those work, so that was kind of a pain in the ass. Again, I tried color matching the carpets from the Lloyd's mats, and you can just see how dirty they get. Like, I've not even really been sitting in these. It's just from like tools in there that had some dirt on or whatever, but they show everything. It's kind of a pain in the ass, so I'm probably going to try to resell these and then just pick up some black mats and just have black floor mats. Anyway, so interior is basically done. I need to clean that area back there because I have my feet up. And I need to get some new rear view mirrors because mine were just torched and they fell apart, and I don't really want to go through rebuilding them, so I'm just going to look for some aftermarket ones or some lightly used ones. And the rear view mirror fell off and then disintegrated. Oh well. I have the fans removed. You can see here I had to do the old notch trick so that they would avoid that hose, but fans are out. I still got to put in the new thermo fan switch, which is right there. And yeah, so thermal fan switch is going to go in, and I have put these 10-inch fans in. They fit perfectly with the shroud. I just drilled a couple of holes and I used little pass-through things that they come with. They're pretty stout. I don't know how, we'll see how they hold up. Blue, at least on this version, is positive, but blue is positive so that the fan pulls. If I needed it to push, then black would be positive. So that's how it works on these. I've tested them both out on the car battery. So they're both working. I have a relay here, and it comes with a thermal switch. Obviously it doesn't fit, but I am going to use the thermo fan switch that I'm going to install, and that's going to be the ground interrupt. So yeah, we're going to utilize that, get this all mounted back up, and then we're going to test it. All right, fans are installed. I just did another test of them. So I've got them wired in to a waterproof disconnect so that I can remove them if need be. I just had them going direct to the battery. But yeah, they pull pretty decent amount of air, I feel like. Just as good, if not better, than the original ones. It's kind of hard to feel the difference, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it keeps the temps down. That's really all I care about. Okay, so I got the fans mounted. There really isn't more clearance. It's about the same amount of clearance, but I do like how it has these guards all the way around it, so I don't have to worry about the radiator belt anymore getting chewed up. I ended up, we're going to see how this works tomorrow when I get the fan relay in, but I ended up wiring it directly into the low side, driver's side wiring harness. And that way I don't have to run a bunch of random wires through the engine bay, and it'll run through that resistor, so it'll have both running on low speed, which I think will move more air than just the single fan unit was when it was on low speed. And then if I kick the AC on, it'll kick both of them up to high until the temp drops. The thermo fan switch is, I think it stops at around 175 degrees. So it's like 195, 175, I think. But yeah, so tomorrow when I get that new relay, I'll turn this in, I'll let it idle and get a temp, and we'll see how it works. I'm gonna wire that down so it's a little further away from that crankshaft pulley. Go zip tie. But yeah, overall I like the look. I think it's better. We shall see if it ends up moving more air or not, or if it helps with the temp. My radiator isn't leaking at all, so I'm hoping we can get some time out of this, but we shall see. If nothing else, I think an aluminum core radiator with one central fan is like maybe $199. So I might just do that at some point, but this should get us on the road.